Dahomey is Matty Diop's follow-up to the Cannes-winning film Atlantics. Dahomey is a 68-minute documentary about the returning of 26 artefacts from colonial France to present-day Benin that was stolen during colonial times. Dahomey won the Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival. It has been selected as Senegal's official submission for Best International Feature Film Oscar at the 97th Academy Awards. In this video, I'm going to review the film, looking at the political themes it covers, and I'll do some analysis of how well it could do at the Oscars. If you're new to my channel, my name is Paul, and I review the best of world cinema, and I followed the race for Best International Feature Film Oscar, from countries selecting their film to the final winner. So let's roll and review that film. Dahomey is a mixture of experimental and traditional documentary making in its exploration of post-colonial societies. It forgoes the traditional voiceover narrative, instead providing space, time and opportunity for the audience to question and meditate on the themes and questions it is asking. We are asked to observe the packing and unpacking of these artifacts as they are transported from France to present-day Benin. We watch celebrations in the streets as they see these artifacts being returned to their natural home. While we don't have a voiceover directing the narrative of this documentary, we do get a voice of one of the statues. The voice is distorted and robotic, providing the point of view of the African artifact, reflecting some of the mythology of these things having a point of view and voice. This point of view reflects the feeling of being lost or being taken to a country that is not yours, but the uncertainty of returning to a very changed country. There is a tonal shift in the second half of the film as we move away from observing these objects and how they are being packaged and delivered. We go to these university students who are having a really effective debate about what it means to bring these artifacts back to Africa. This student debate really effectively demonstrates the nuance and complexity of post-colonial arguments. Some of the students are in jubilation because they now have some artifacts that they can attach a heritage to and develop a new national identity of Benin. Others are quite sceptical, saying there are over 7,000 objects in France, yet Benin have only received 26, and they see this as a political ploy by Macron. Others talk about the accessibility of museums, with it being a rather Western concept and a bit exclusive. Poorer people who live in the countryside are less likely to go into the city and see these objects. So are they really attached to them in their own sense of nation building? And of course, there's the radical opinion of people going back to France and removing the other objects, much in the same manner that they were removed from their homeland. I think this is a really effective device used by Diop to show the complexity of arguments. It's not just a binary bad colonizer and good victim. They explore some of the nuances of the debate and some of the issues we have to think about when we attach objects to our heritage and the formation of national identity. And I really like how the film ends with a great sense of people are going to be returning to their homeland. The diaspora are going to come home, and how this can create a stronger, united Benin.
Ce qui a été pillé il y a plus d'un siècle, c'est l'âme des peuples.
One of the most impressive attributes of this documentary is the way it experiments with shape, sound and form. It manages to use silence and darkness at times to enable us to think about the questions it is asking and provide our own space to think of what do we really think about these issues. However, at any point it's never jarring and it doesn't disrupt the flow of the narrative it is putting forward. Despite its shortness of 68 minutes, it really goes into the complexities of post-colonialism and the arguments surrounding it. The film has huge ambitions of what it's trying to achieve, and I think it achieves it really effectively, without actually answering all the questions, but instead enabling the viewer to think about these topics and come up with their own conclusions. Through the format Diop has adopted, we managed to explore so many questions, such as what is the impact of colonialisation of these communities? Through the student section, we're able to explore the value of material and immaterial culture and how they help identify our own heritage and cultural and national identity. Through the student discussion, there is an interesting conversation about the importance of both material and immaterial culture. Are we so reliant on statues and heritage to define us, or are there other things such as traditional dance, traditional clothing, etc.? And how much have people, in particular young people, been reliant on international brands such as Disney, which are very westernized? Have they been deprived of formating their own cultural identity? And how can you right that wrong? There's also a discussion about accessibility of culture. Yes, bring these statues back. Yes, put them in a local museum. However, there's still barriers to people accessing them. And it's not the sense that they get to define their own culture if they cannot access them themselves. Museums in this sort of case it seems, could be quite a westernized idea. However, their existence is still important in other parts of the world. I suppose one criticism of the documentary could be that it doesn't delve into some of the hidden meaning of these statues, such as the role of slavery before colonialism happened, because Dahomey involved a lot of slavery at the time before the French came in. However, my own personal point of view is this is not a documentary about Dahomey and its history. It's a very specific exploration of the meaning of these statues and the importance of returning them to their homeland. It's not a coverall for every single issue. I feel that if Diop had tried to answer these sort of questions, it would change the exam question she is asking and change the dial of the content of the film. I feel what the documentary is doing is just right, and Mati Diop really delivers on what she's trying to achieve. I think she is one of the most defining voices within African and Senegalese contemporary cinema, and I really cannot wait for whenever she produces new material. So overall, I would give Dahomey 4 stars. So let's have a look at how well it will do at the Oscars. Senegal have announced this as their official submission for Best International Feature Film at the 97th Academy Awards. And from the 12 films I've seen so far, I would rank it as my 3rd favourite. I think the film has a strong chance to get to the final 15 shortlist, but it might be a bit of a challenge to be the first Senegalese film to be nominated for Best International Feature Film. I actually think it's got a stronger chance to get a nomination, Best Documentary, which would be fantastic. So let's have a quick look at how Senegal have done at the Oscars historically. Despite Senegal's strong cinematic heritage, they have only been submitting films in the Oscars since 2017 and have submitted 6 films so far. Despite being relatively new to the Oscar race, Senegal have already had 2 films that have made the 15 shortlist. This includes Félicité, as well as Mati Diop's Atlantics. And I think Senegal have a great chance to get their 3rd film to make the final 15. Even though I don't think it will be nominated in this category, I think it's got a chance in Best Documentary category. So if you want to know how well it does at the Oscars and follow the race for Best International Feature Film Oscar, please do like this video and subscribe to my channel, Global Film Pool. There you'll see more Oscar race content, as well as reviews of contemporary world cinema.